Call a meeting to order. A moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mrs. Franks,
Mayor Kendall.
present. And from the city hall of Harper Woods.
Okay. Councilwoman Costantino.
Present from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilman Jenny.
Present from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Pies.
Present from Harper Woods.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Present from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Williams.
Present from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilman Toussaint.
Present from my home in Harper Woods on Danbury Lane.
And our acting city manager
Here.
and city attorney Diwali.
Here.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of minutes. Anyone,
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Councilman Toussaint?
I move that we approve the minutes. Let someone else do it. I don't have it quite in order yet. I've got the wrong.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Wiki,
Yes, I'll move to receive, approve, and file our regular city council meeting held on January 19th, 2022. To receive and file the ordinance committee meeting held January 18th, 2022.
support,
Support.
Jennings. Okay, Councilman Jennings. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comment on agenda items only. Is there anyone in the audience that wish to speak on the agenda items?
If you could electronically raise your hand, that'd be preferred. If not, please unmute yourself to identify yourself if you would like to speak on an item.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I need a resolution.
Madam
Madam
Mayor.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Constantino,
I'll offer the resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 8.
Support.
support by Councilman Toussaint. Discussion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
And Mayor Kendall.
Yes,
Okay, resolution passes.
all right. Is he in the audience?
Yes, let's take a look here.
Okay. Is MedStar in our audience?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for giving me just a couple of minutes tonight. I wanted to go over our service report from the preceding year and keep you up to speed on all the services that we're providing in the city. See if I can answer any questions for you. So I will be very brief. We look at our emergency versus non-emergency responses in the year. We see that the trend of emergency response continues a little bit more than we would like to. We try to cut down on lights and siren responses just from the danger, but nonetheless, they are the prevalent category of our response in the city of Harper Woods. And then we look at the reasons that were called for. The actual list probably has about 30-ish reasons, but in the top 10, we see everything from general illness all the way to seizures. In the year that we've had, of course, you would expect that there's a lot of COVID-related responses in this number, and there certainly is, and most of them show up in the general illness and difficulty breathing categories. That number is slowing now, ever so slightly, and we're happy to see that, but nonetheless, it has had a big impact on our year. And then we look at the way that the patients are treated and transported from the scenes. We see that about a third of our responses in Harper Woods are actually canceled. About 10% are transported emergency status to the hospitals. That's lights and siren. And the remaining, just about 3/4, are transported non-emergency. So of course, from a safety perspective, that's good. It does show, though, the disconnection between the emergency response and then the emergency transport status. And we would like to, and we're putting efforts into next year, getting better caller information so we can reduce that emergency traffic because of the inherent danger. We look at our response times in the city of Harper Woods for the year. The average emergency response time was just over 5 minutes. And the majority of them, when you look at them on a graph, do hover right around that 5-minute mark, with several being less than 5 minutes and a few more being over. There's the weather delays that affect some of the long ones. There's occasionally multiple calls in the city, but by and large, the majority of the calls are 5 and under, and we're happy with that. Of course, we try to keep that time as short as we can, but again, safety is a big part of that. We use an external patient satisfaction survey, so everybody who's transported gets a patient satisfaction survey in the mail, and then the survey company puts together a very nice quarterly package for us. It's rather extensive, and I boiled it down here to the highest scores. And I think most importantly, and one of our points of pride, is that 98.8 positive comments and positive feedback from the patients. And in every one of the measured categories, we were ahead of the national benchmark. So we're always working on that. We're always trying to engage with patients and get feedback, but it is rewarding to see that the vast majority of the patients who are surveyed have positive feedback. There are a couple of categories of patients that we don't survey. We don't survey incarcerated from the scene. We don't survey passed away on the scene, although I will say that accidentally there are some that are sent. And we don't survey psychiatric patients if the reason for transport was psychiatric, we don't survey them as well. But the rest you see here, and I'm happy to provide more information if anybody wants it on that. But this is just a summary so we can be quick. Obviously, it has been a difficult year in the EMS business, and we've certainly had our share of impact. We chose to pay all of our people if they were affected by COVID. So no workers' comp, no reduction in wage. And we've lost hundreds of thousands of man hours this year to restriction or infection. Along the way, though, we managed to raise $80,000 for our AED donation program. We offer AEDs to the schools and churches and civic areas throughout our service area. We invested in 22 new ambulances in the year. We started back in January an EMT Academy, which has really proven to be successful. 130 new employees hired full-time and paid for every hour that they're in EMT school. It produces licensed EMTs at the end of the program, and of course they move into a full-time position. So that really has, as people have left EMS and left public safety this year, it's been a difficult time. But having new people coming into our program, most importantly from our service area. So not only are we producing new employees, but we're providing jobs and economic opportunity to people within our service area. And this year, because of the unusual year that we had, we began providing monoclonal antibodies when the state and feds made them available to us, and throughout our service area, we delivered almost 5,000 antibodies in patients' homes. And eventually we got so busy, we had to set up clinics. One of the largest prescribing sites in Michigan was MedStar. Our folks in Lansing thought MedStar was a new hospital. We were doing so many of them. Those are the residents in your community getting treated in their home when we could. And then when the volume got to be too much, we switched to the clinic model, but still very successful in monoclonals. Next year, if there are at-risk patients in their homes, seniors, elderly, or medically fragile, have a community paramedic come visit them once a month, make sure their medications are right, make sure their doctor's appointments are right, engage their family and their physicians when needed. Continuing to restock the ambulance supply. This year it's 30, all with a new power load and power lift. So the stretcher virtually puts itself in the ambulance. With all the workers' comp injuries and the difficulty with some of our patients, that will help a lot. We started another academy today, as a matter of fact. The 6th academy launched today with 24 new employees in it. And for whatever reason, the monoclonal information wants to appear in 2 different slides. With that, I hope that was quick. I hope that gives you a good summary, and I apologize for the speed, but just from an overview perspective, that is a brief look at our service in Harper Woods for 2021. Happy to take any questions.
Madam Mayor,
Excuse me?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki?
Quick question. I'm curious as to where you station yourself in order to respond to Harper Woods. Do you have a particular location where you are stationed to respond to us?
So the majority of the responses come from within the city of Harper Woods. We don't use a specific station location. We'll use intersections, gas station parking lots. But at the same time, we move the vehicles around the service area. So even if the vehicle is a little bit outside of Harper Woods, or there might be 2 in Harper Woods at the time, we distribute the resources over the entire service area. And it helps that way. And sometimes you'll hear, you know, there wasn't an ambulance in town at this time or that time. And although that may be true, 2 blocks over the line makes a great response into this community and back into your community as well. So I'm always hesitant to say that we position ourselves at this corner, because then what happens is anytime somebody drives by and doesn't see the ambulance there, they think they're not in town. But you'll frequently see them moving about town. I think most of the time they're coming and going, and if they do get a break, it's usually right towards 94, usually in a parking lot. But then they're moving again. So the vehicles are always on the move. And I would say, and I don't have the statistic with me, I would say that probably 90% of the responses into Harper Woods are from Harper Woods, with the remaining 10% being from a post that's, 2, 3, 4 blocks away, or sometimes a couple of miles away, but positioning the vehicles around the neighboring communities so that we can serve everybody with equalized response.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pies?
Thank you. I'm wondering what percentage response you have to the survey, and also what your average response time is. You may have addressed this. My connection was bad and I fell out for a minute of the meeting. You could respond to that. I'd appreciate it.
Sure. The average response time in the city is 5 minutes and 22 seconds for the emergency responses. And the survey response, now that you ask about the 2021 data, I don't know that I have 2021 broken out from other survey years. It used to be about 20% in all the years that we measured. What the survey company tells us is a really good number. I think it sounds really low, but apparently in the mail survey world, that percentage is a decent rate of survey. There are other survey organizations in the EMS industry, none that have the national database of the one that we use. And they use phone surveys, and I'm not real, I think the written survey data that we get back is better, even if it is 20%. And the opportunity for free text information has always helpful for us. Anytime we get a negative survey back where there's patient feedback that's negative or the patient requests to be contacted, we contact them as soon as we get the information.
Okay, and one more question. You said that you have a knock and check-in. Has this been established in Harper Woods already, or how is it being organized?
This is coming in 2022. We're waiting on one more document from our medical malpractice attorney, and we will advertise it. But certainly the city council or the city will get a notice when we do it. Our community paramedic program has proven a lot of value. It was started to be a readmission prevention program. But what we learned is that there's a lot of social determinants of health, and a lot of those things can be addressed just with regular visits into patients' homes. You know, we may have aging parents that we can't see as often as we like. And if we knew that there was a service in their community that could come by once a month or more and check on them, we may know that we have people who contact 911 frequently. And some of those situations might be resolved with just checking up on them rather than letting the situations get to an emergency. The underlying belief and our community paramedic program, when we ran it for the hospitals, we took a readmission rate from 14% to 3%. That's significant in the healthcare world. So what we believe is that by regular visits and by checking on either clinical or social determinants of health, we've come to adopt the motto as we look at rolling this thing out that the best way to treat a heart attack is to prevent it. Mm-hmm. And by doing things like this in the patient's home, you know, I don't think we'll ever get to the point of calling and saying, we're on the way, you're about to have a heart attack. But I think we can get to the point of saying your blood pressure's gone up by 6 or 8 points in our last 2 visits. Your pulse ox has gone down by 4 or 5%. We really need to get you hooked up with your cardiologist. There's something that's going on here. And if it's left unchecked, the outcome is pretty predictable. And we really showed that in our community paramedic program when we did it with the hospitals. So there's some tweaking left to do. There's enrollment, there's forms, there's liability release, and then collecting all the information in a HIPAA secured way that allows us to communicate with your primary care physician and your doctor. But we really do think, and really, if we think about the healthcare world, we can obviously see the value here. But if we think about public safety, law enforcement has crime prevention, fire department has fire prevention. And this is just moving the preventative model into the EMS side of public safety. And we think it'll prove very valuable in all the communities that we serve.
So this would be contractual and cost then for this program to have in Harper Woods.
Our plan is that the regular visit schedule, and I'm still speaking conceptually, but we think once a month is a free visit for anybody within our service area. If the family wants to sign up and say, you know, we'd rather have you come twice a week, then there will be an enrollment fee for that second visit, or we want to have you come once a week or something like that. So the once a month routine checkup, if you will, is a free service within our service area for people who want us to come more often. There may be some specialized services that are offered for more of a clinical delivery. Those will have prices. But I think just the maintenance visit alone and just checking in on people, you'd be surprised just to see how poor the medication compliance is in some of our senior population. Just helping them keep their medication straightened out, making sure they have their medications, making sure they know when their next doctor's appointment is. Some of the things that keep people out of the hospital aren't real high level medicine. They're just helping people out at home. And for that service, we don't expect to have any charge for residents within our service area.
So it would be at no charge then to the city itself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I completely missed the question? Yeah, yes, you are correct.
No,
charges.
I appreciated your answer. I just wanted that part answered also.
Yes, no charge.
Also, there is a program that you may be partnering with, will be with the DAAA too. They're working on a project very similar to be working out through the city of Harper Woods too. So we may get you both together.
That'd be fantastic, because those kind of community partnerships can really drive change.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Are there
Thank you.
any further questions?
Yes.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Williams.
Yes, I was just wondering, like the ambulances that's set up to help Harper Woods. Where are they coming from? What depot or where are they located? I think I saw one up on Warren, maybe. I was just wondering where our ambulances coming from.
So 90% of the time, they're in the city at a post, right in the city. I don't have my posting list in front of you to tell you my exact Harper Woods posts. I think we have 2 identified posts within the city of Harper Woods, and then they're always moving around. And again, I hesitate to say that they're at this corner or that corner, because then when you know, that's the checkup, we drive by and we don't see the ambulance. But you'll generally see them, especially up and down the 94 corridor. When I come through, they're usually close to 94. They're exiting from the freeway into the city or coming into the city from the freeway. So with service in the Grosse Points, service in East Point, and moving back and forth between the St. John area, the vehicles are always in the city or near the city. And I think the real test of that, and I'm happy to show, because we have GPS tracking on all our vehicles, we can look at actual responses. One of the things that I think is most important is that when we do have questions about response times or where they're coming from, we can look at the GPS track from the vehicle and find out exactly where they were and where they were going. And every now and then we actually find in some of our long responses, we have some navigational problems. You know, we've got map sets that aren't correct, or we got people that once in a while don't even follow them. But 90% of the time you have a vehicle in the city, if not 2. And that's what generates that emergency response time of just a little bit more than 5 minutes. And I'm happy to provide, when I have the exact data in front of me, I can send it to the mayor, all of the posts that are within Harper Woods and the nearby posts, so that you can see where the vehicles are stationed in your city.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Being none, I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the time.
And have a pleasant evening.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, new business, city manager report.
Okay, Mayor and Council, item G1, confirm appointment, Director of Public Safety. Mayor and Council, with the recent retirement of Director Smith, it is now necessary for us to fill this position. It is my intent to place Lieutenant Jason Hammerly in this capacity. Lieutenant Hammerly has been with the city of Harper Woods since 2005 and has proven to be an asset to the Department of Public Safety. Attached is the employment agreement that has been prepared for your review. It has been reviewed by the city attorney for form and by me for content. I believe that it is fair and a reasonable agreement, and it is recommended that it be approved. Following the approval, the city clerk will administer the oath of office to Director Jason Hammerly. Mayor, a resolution is required.
Okay,
Madam Mayor,
yes, Councilwoman Constantino.
I'll offer the resolution to confirm the appointment of Jason Hammerly as Public Safety Director for the city of Harper Woods, and further to approve the employment agreement between the city of Harper Woods and Director Hammerly, and further to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Support, Councilman Toussaint. Discussion.
Yes.
Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Madam,
Councilwoman Constantino?
First of all, we've got the employment agreement and everything, but I am just wanting a little bit more information about the process that Lieutenant Hammerly was chosen. Did he go through testing, or is the union in agreement with this? I just want to make sure that the proper procedures have all been followed.
Yes, we received waivers from the union. The union is in complete agreement. The other lieutenants that were eligible for this position as well, they have all declined the position, paving the way for Lieutenant Hammerly.
Right. Are there any further
Okay.
questions?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki?
Okay, I know that provisions are made in this agreement for continuing education on the part of Lieutenant Hammerly. I'm trying to find the material that I'm seeing here to get certain upper level degrees, which is wonderful. I'm excited, and I hope he takes advantage of that. My concern is after he goes through all of this training and getting his degrees, is there any requirement for him to stay with us? I want to keep him if we're going to go through this process.
Unfortunately, we can't write that in the contract, but he's been here since 2005. He loves his job,
Okay.
and I don't think we're going to have any problems.
All right. And is he cross-trained?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Very good. Thank you.
Are there any further questions?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Constantino.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to finish. I just, in the contract, under hours of work, it's very ambiguous. It doesn't talk about the number of hours or anything like that. And I know most of the time our chiefs have been very dedicated, but in the past we had one that just only showed up a couple hours a day. So I just wanted to see what we're expecting. There's not really any, like I said, that doesn't say, any regular, or it just says that compensatory time off during normal hours. It doesn't really say how many hours are we, like in my daughter's contract, it says that she's expected to work a minimum of 45 hours a week, or something like that.
Okay, his contract, it's based on a 2,080-hour work year, which is normal and customary. I want to say he is going to be putting in excess of that. He'll be on call. I want to say any day of the week, any hour of the day, just like our police chiefs, previous police chiefs.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none. Roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Okay, Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki,
Yes.
and Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Now,
Now we get to,
right, then we'll just wait for our clerk to run around here and swear him in.
Repeat after me. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Jason Hammerly,
I, Jason Hamlin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of
Public Safety Director
Public Safety Director
for the city of Harper Woods,
in and for the city of Upper Woods,
County of Wayne,
County of Wayne,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Sign that, give it back to me, whenever.
All righty then. All right, moving along. John,
Moving
it's back
along,
to you.
okay, item G2, Allard Avenue Replacement Project. Mayor and council, attached is a memorandum from the Public Works Superintendent requesting if funding is available to replace a portion of Allard Avenue that falls into Harper Woods. As his memo explains, Grosse Pointe Woods is in the process of removing and replacing this street up to and including our city limits. Mr. Snyder has been contacted by Grosse Pointe Woods to determine if a joint venture would be possible for our mutual engineering firm, Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick, provide a cost analysis for our portion. I have reviewed this with him and I concur with his recommendation that we take advantage of the street replacement on Allard Avenue in cooperation with Grosse Pointe Woods. Mayor, a resolution is required.
Madam Mayor,
Councilman
make the,
He's got his mute on. That's it.
okay, you raised your, okay, is it Councilman Jennings or is it Councilman Tucson?
Go ahead, Jennings.
oh, I can do it. Okay. I'd like to make the resolution to approve a joint road replacement project with City of Grosse Pointe Woods for the portion of Allard Avenue that lies within the City of Harper Woods limits in the amount of $16,320 if funding is available.
Support.
Support by Councilman Tucson. Discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor, go ahead.
Councilwoman Sawicki first, please.
Thank you. I had a difficult time seeing where that cutoff is. It looks, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's right at the VFW, just like that alleyway behind it. Okay, so it's just that approach to, the populated section of Allard. It's just that. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Councilman Tucson.
I just want to say, I am totally in favor of any road improvements in our city.
Thank you. Is there any other further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes, yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino,
Yes.
and Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, this leads us to item G3, proposal RFQ for Polpard Elementary School. Mayor and Council, attached is a memorandum from the Economic and Community Development Director outlining the proposed preparation of a request for qualification RFQ for the Polpard Elementary School site to be performed by our planning consultants, McKenna. I have reviewed this proposal with him and concur that we engage in this opportunity to work with them and the consultant of the Grosse Pointe Board of Education. Mayor, a resolution is required.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll offer by resolution to accept the proposal from McKenna dated January 24th, 2022 for their professional services to prepare a request for qualification RFQ for the Polpard Elementary School site in an amount not to exceed $5,000 and further to authorize the acting city manager to sign the proposal.
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Sawicki. Discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
Just briefly, I know we've spent money in the past getting, documents together and imaging together and all of this for Eastland, and that kind of went out the window, although we have, of course, a wonderful, program or whatever coming in there. We're spending $5,000 here, and I know we've spent some money already. Have we gotten any positive feedback on our earlier plans for this location so that this would be a justified amount? In other words, is it worth our while going through this process? Or are we going to get shut down by the Grosse Pointe schools?
No, what has actually taken place here is we've had visioning sessions with members of the council. Okay, in the past, there was some, I want to say, differences that the city and the Grosse Pointe Board of Education, especially their real estate division, there were some quirks that had to be worked out. And it seems that all of those things have been worked out. And what's going to happen is this is going to be used as a, to prepare a rendering for housing, that real nice housing that's going to go there, that's going to be supported by our state of Michigan paid for market study that we had. And it's going to be a very, very unique type neighborhood. And it'll be a gem for the city when it's all complete. And as it rolls out, council will be informed of all the various stages, but right now we're just in the preliminary stages. That building is going to come down this year.
All right. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
Yeah, I just want to add in that I was reading somewhere by the Grosse Pointe School Board, some part of their meeting, and they've already discussed this in their meeting, the what is it, the RFQ. They've discussed that in their meeting, and they've already approved of everything on the school board site. So I think my interpretation of all of that I've read is that they're just waiting for our council to approve of this, and then we'll be working together going forward. But everybody's on the same page, us and the school board.
That's correct.
All right. Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor?
Madam
Yes,
Mayor?
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes, I had two questions. One, I know you stated that we would have like residential housing. So I was wondering whether that was like apartment buildings or
No, they're
single-family homes
actually,
or-
yeah, they're actually going to be townhouses. Some may have, I want to say, the lawns right on the rooftops. Probably a good example of this kind of housing, and again, it's not going to be exactly like it, but it's a pretty good example, is if you're going down the 696 right before you get to the Detroit Zoo, right where you turn off on Main Street, you'll see a lot of townhouses there. It'll be very similar to that.
Okay, and my second question, I was just curious, since this is a Poupart School, that the Harperwood School District wasn't interested in that building or anything?
We don't own that building. It's owned by the Grosse Pointe School Board, and they decided to knock it down. And we are partnering with them to build new housing there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Toussaint.
To expand on her, Councilwoman Virginia's question there, once this is done, will that property still belong to Grosse Pointe or will it belong to Harper Woods?
It's going to belong to the homeowners. What's going to happen is they are going to knock it down. They are going to sell the property to a developer that we're working with. The developer is going to build townhouses. The city is working on financing with the developers using, again, a brownfield authority and what they call a NEZ, neighborhood enterprise zone. So it's we're putting all those tools together to make sure that this is a successful project, a nice looking, unique neighborhood. And we even got the county interested in doing some land improvements there once this gets up and running.
So this is not going to be subsidized housing?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Zwicky.
It sounds like a win-win for the city and for the school district, because the city will have revenue from taxes and the school district will potentially get more school, kids into their building. And that's always a win for a school district. So I presume all of those will remain with the Grosse Pointe School District. Anything that, is built in that location is in the Grosse Pointe School District. So they're definitely looking forward and getting some more kids into their buildings and, getting money in that regard. So sounds like a win-win. Very
I
good.
agree.
Thank you.
And Ty,
Yes,
if you would like to add or subtract or do whatever, you want to make any comments regarding, because this has been your baby.
well, thanks for the opportunity. We've been at this now a little more than 2 years. The main factor was what was going to happen with the school building. They finally made a decision to demolish it because they were concerned about a charter school being put there under some kind of disguise. So now we have agreed to move forward. The timetable is that we want to put the requests for qualifications out into the development community no later than the first part of March. We hope to select that group or that person by early May and be underway with the demolition of the building and site preparation in the summer.
All right. Thank you very much, Ty. Are there any further discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes,
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino,
Yes.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right. thank you.
Mayor and council, that concludes the city manager's reports.
All right, thank you. All right, call the audience. 3 minutes, please, and one time only. And you need to raise your hand and identify yourself.
If you could electronically raise your hand, that would be great. If not, then if you could just unmute yourself or raise your hand if you have your camera on. I see Mr. Hakeem is raising his hand at the moment.
Hello, is my audio on?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Hello, everybody. Nice to see your smiling faces.
Yes.
Couple quick questions on Poupard. At what point will the notice be out to developers for bidding the project? And how will it be disclosed to the general development world? And second question, same project. I understand that's always been part of the Grosse Pointe school system. But if you buy a place and live there and you have kids, do you, back in the day, do you have a choice whether you want to send your kids to Grosse Pointe schools or Harperwood schools? Or do you have to go to Grosse Pointe schools if you live there?
You would have to get special permission from the Grosse Pointe School District in order to go to the Harperwood School District, because they would have to make an agreement with each other as to where the monies would go for that student.
There's foundation grants that follow the
Right.
student. So
Okay.
I would say that for all practical reasons, everybody that's in that new housing location, they're all going to be in Grosse Pointe school system. If they want something different, there's probably an avenue to get that somehow.
Yeah, because you can go to private schools or whatever, right? Okay,
Okay, second of all, Jason, congratulations. I wish you the best of everything. Hope because you become chief, I don't see you driving around anymore and wave at you and stuff, because it's been nice seeing you on the streets the last several years, but good luck to you in the new job. And I'm sure you'll do just fine. We're looking forward to having you run this public safety department. You're a good man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the last thing is, there's a lot of chatter on the local Harper Woods web resident different websites. Specifically this week, there were a ton regarding unshoveled sidewalks. I know I called the police department 9 times on, not even in my neighborhood, but just driving through the city to go someplace or come home. Many, many, many unshoveled sidewalks 3 days after the big snow that never came. And it's a shame that 4 inches of snow, people can't get out. And you know, if you pay attention, and I called on every address, they're the same addresses you call on all summer long that don't mow their lawn. And 5 out of 10 of those are the same people that at some point have a car or 2 parked on their front lawn, not in their driveway. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I pulled over a young man today who lived a block from my house. I know his ma pretty well. He ran 3 stop signs between Allard and Harper and Littlestone and Craig. And the one he ran first, he didn't even think about slowing down. He went through that intersection at 30 miles an hour. I know COVID has ramped up the negligence of drivers to no end, but it may be something you got to pay a little extra attention to, Chief. This stop sign thing is ridiculous. Forget speeding as a non-option. Guy spun out coming off of Craig onto Littlestone the other day, ended up in my neighbor's front lawn. Thank God there was nobody walking on the sidewalk. And the last thing I got to say about that is that dumb speedometer thing we got on the pole. Took us a couple of years to buy and to get posted on Littlestone between Harper and Chester. I told the last chief about it back in the summer. That thing hasn't worked in 6 months. So it's either flashing all kind of crazy numbers or it doesn't flash anything. But as far as checking speed of cars coming up Littlestone, in the beginning when it did work, it made people a little bit conscious of their speed. And now that it's just sitting there blacked out, you know, they think the speed limit on Littlestone is 70 miles an hour. Some of them are conscious and slow down to 40, but it's getting crazy. So I know you got your work cut out for you, but we really got to do something with enforcing more and more, especially this shovel your sidewalk and parking on the lawns. And you know what? It's just very, very, very sad to see. No matter how many times you knock on people's door, they don't get the message.
Understood. I'm a little concerned that if you called the police department 9 times and you didn't get a response, that's concerning to me.
Well, they did respond. I don't know if they went back. I didn't go back to double check everybody.
Okay.
So I can't say there was no response and nothing done. But it's a general, every year it seems to get a little worse with the lawn mowing and the snow shoveling. And, you know, we got to, like they say, used to say, put a tourniquet on it. You got to stop the bleeding before you can operate and make it better. And I get that. So, you know, and they responded right away when I called. They were good on the phone. The dispatcher was right on it. Took the addresses, you know. I'm sure they dispatch people. They're usually pretty good about that. I try not to bother Bill and his crew about stuff that I know I got to go directly to the police with. But
okay,
I don't know for sure that they did or didn't respond. I think they did. They've always been pretty good, your officers. But it's more about, I don't know what we got to do with safety as far as having somebody just driving around banging on front doors, telling these people to do that. I mean, I'm retired. I'll do it. You know, so I got nothing to do all day. I'll drive around, put notices on people's front doors.
okay. All right, Mr. Hakeem, thank you very much.
I didn't use my 3 minutes last meeting, so I figured I'd catch up.
Yeah, okay.
I just for edification there, Larry, we issued over 100 snow violations today on Kelly, Beaconsfield, Eastwood, Kingsville. And we're gonna have our officers follow up on them. We put the bright green tags on the door. We know we have a problem. And this is going to be the year where we gently go back to ordinance enforcement. We know it's gotten, out of hand.
Great,
So-
and I appreciate that, but Harper Woods is on the other side of the freeway too, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so seeing that there's no one else with their hands raised,
Yes, my hand is raised.
okay, Mr. Williams?
Madam Mayor, Council, my question is directed towards the gentleman from MedStar.
From where?
And
To the council.
to the Mayor, Madam Mayor,
Oh, I
my
don't know if
question
he's still
is-
on the call, but let's just check and see if he's still there.
I believe he's left the meeting, Madam Mayor.
okay,
Yeah.
I have a question. Where are they located? Where do the trucks return to at the end of the shift? And if are they relieved by another vehicle, or do they have to take their vehicle back and someone else come out? Because if so, that kills the response time. That's that's my question.
Okay, we'll get an answer for you, Mr. Williams. I don't have the answer because Mr. MedStar is gone, but they are staged in our general area.
Yes.
But I don't know what they do with the exchange of shift, whether they're relieved when the other person comes in the area or they have to go to the area. I'm tending to believe that they're relieved when another ambulance come to the area, but I'm not for sure. So we'll get that question answered for you.
And one other question, if their rig break down,
Mhm.
because you have to look at response time to the residents too. Because it's cold outside and diesel fuel will gel up,
Yes.
even if they're sitting out there running, if moisture is in the tank. I'm just saying from a mechanical aspect, I'm looking out for the citizens in Harper Woods.
Yes. Well,
Good answer.
any kind of repair, if any kind of breakdown that they have, they immediately, they have other rigs within our area, and they will call for one of those rigs, and then I'm sure MedStar sends another rig to replace that rig. So hopefully we get all these answers answered for you by the next meeting.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
you're welcome. Is there anyone else, Bob, with a hand up?
I do
Okay.
not see anyone at this time, Madam Mayor.
All right, then, well, let us go and to call the council, and the first one will be Cheryl Constantino.
I just want to say that our DPW did a great job during the snowstorm or mini snowstorm. And also, I wanted to see confirm our next ordinance committee meeting.
Okay,
We'll get back.
John, we'll get back with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, the rodent or pest problem that we're having, and I do appreciate a response to a letter that I sent earlier, because it is something that we really do have to consider. And even another council member talked about that when North Point start doing that construction, that's another potential issue with the rodents. And I know the area that I live in, there is definitely rodents. There's just way too many. And when we did that Beaconsfield construction on the street, I think that, routed out a lot more of the rats. And like I said in the letter, I do have neighbors who's come to me, and it was a serious concern because they feel like they were getting overwhelmed and just too many of them, and was making their life miserable, and mine too, actually, because I live over here, and we definitely have a rodent problem. And I appreciate the response about Great Lakes Pest Control. And I would like the acting city manager or mayor to expound upon the answer so that other residents who may have the same problem, this might be something that can help everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of activity this year, construction activity, and as I stated in the update, probably more than the city has seen in the last 28 years. And we are definitely gonna put this as part of the plan. I have sent this email to our engineers, our DPW. I sent it to the judge, our judge, Coleman, so that we can act as a community in solving this problem. It may come down to ticketing specific backyards. I don't know. But this is definitely going to be something that we build into the equation. Rodents have been here since the beginning of time, hard to control. The best thing is don't feed them as much as you possibly can, but we will try our best with traps and whatever other means necessary to get this under control in a safe environmental manner. You know, you can understand from our point of view, we don't want to put out poison that will get into our water or possibly that pets, household pets will ingest or children. So this is a very serious problem, and we're going to sit down as a group. We're going to talk about it, how other communities have handled this, and kind of go from there. You know, that's going to be a first step that we're going to discuss this before we start discussing the construction. It's going to be part of the plan.
Okay, and specifically, I wasn't really so much about the construction, but more about private citizens, residents who's having the issue. And I know you mentioned ticketing yards, but
Well,
I think
I didn't say for certain. I'm just throwing it out there that, you know, if it's not fair if, let's say, you have 4 or 5 residents together that clean up their property, and then you have one that doesn't, and they're the ones attracting all the rats for everybody else. You know, again, we're going to have to see where this all leads. So, you know, I don't have the answer today. I can't give you an answer today because this is a complex problem. But this is going to be something that we will actively address as all these construction projects go on.
okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Tucson. You're muted.
Oh, looking for something. I'm there now. Yes, you can also just expound a little bit on Councilwoman Williams about the pest control, Great Lakes Pest Control. Will we be notified soon? If we have a rat problem, do we contact them to get these little extra services, or do we go to DPW and then they contact them? Or that's to be, you're going to let us know something about that?
Yeah, that's to be determined. We don't know who's going to get contacted, you know, what the plan of action is. We're going to sit down, we're going to actively discuss a plan for the city and kind of go from there.
Sounds like we almost need to have another committee for that.
Hand it up. Okay, Councilman Jennings.
Yeah, hang on, I'm trying to get there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Just want to thank the new chief for staying on and becoming part of the new chief. And again, back to Bill and the DPW for what they did during the storm that wasn't a storm. But I know on top of that, I think they had 5 to 7 water main breaks on the same evening. So, I mean, you talk about stepping up in the bitter cold. I've been there, done that. It takes a lot. Guardian, give them kudos too. I'm gonna go back to my heart, the DPW. So thank you guys. And again, thank you, Chief, for coming aboard. We appreciate it, and we'll help talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Councilman.
All right. Councilwoman Sawicki.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have just a few items. First of all, a resident asked, will there be a public event to the Eastland demolition? In other words, is there a planned demolition of the building that people
No.
can watch? No? Okay, well, I know that when it was,
will not be an explosion. So
Okay.
therefore, it will be taken down piece by piece.
Yes.
So.
all right, well, you don't think there'll be an explosion, but I know that
we
the
hope
basement.
there won't be an explosion.
Okay, good. I
That's
know
what
the
we're not
basement was
expecting.
built as a bomb shelter. I know the basement of that building it's reinforced concrete, so it should be interesting to see how they get that taken care of. All right, so nothing. All right. A couple of other things. First of all, and of course, I do want to welcome our new chief to his position. I know it's not easy, especially during this time when we're seeing so much. So many people just violating laws, you know, in very somewhat selfish ways. Today, I want to echo what Mr. Hakeem said earlier. I live on a corner and I have a stop sign right in front of my house, and I routinely see people doing exactly what Mr. Hakeem said, running through the stop sign without even hitting the brakes. It shocks me to see this as a continuous problem. Today, my husband and I were heading over to Lowe's to pick up a couple items, and I watched as a car slowed down at a red stoplight in front of the high school and went right through that light. Another car pulling off of Eastwood, turning onto Beaconsfield, going near the elementary school, was speeding up. The flashboard said 35 miles an hour when he was going up to it. So I know these people are in our neighborhood. I mean, I'd like to be able to say, get the heck out of here. We don't need you here. You know, you want to go violating some laws, go somewhere else. You know, we have a bedroom community of people who really care or should be caring about their neighbors and each other. And to see that kind of reckless disregard for other people just really fries me. It really makes me upset. So I did want to mention and thank Chief Hammerly for coming on board and to let him know that, you know, the good members of Harper Woods community stand behind what his officers are doing. They, you know, keep up the good outreach to our neighborhoods so that especially young people aren't afraid of police. You know, that's an important consideration. I know, you know, police have a bad rep these days, and overcoming that is not going to be an easy thing to do. But I have utmost confidence that our police department will continue to work well with the community. I also want to mention that our COVID numbers in Harper Woods are trending down, but over the past 2 weeks, we still have had 140 new cases. And as of tonight, an additional 2 people have been identified as having died in our community. So a total of 67 residents who have died from COVID. And so I think perhaps when this is finally done, if it is finally done, and we can do some sort of a memorial for the residents that we've lost, I think that would really be an important gesture on our part. I know Mr. Williams asked a few questions concerning MedStar, and I did want to point out one of the things that was mentioned during the presentation is that MedStar now has 22 new ambulances that have just come on. I know that they stay on top of their repairs and this sort of thing. And so their ambulance are constantly being upgraded and improved on. And so, you know, that's one thing. And he had mentioned to us a few times that they are always moving. Normally 1 or 2 are in the city or they are very nearby. So with a 5-minute response time, I think that echoes his what he has said to us in terms of how close they are and how quickly they respond. And then finally, I thought I had one other thing here. Oh, yes. Just curious about when we will have the new assignments for our Harper Woods, city council assignments for boards and commissions and that sort of thing. So was that forthcoming?
It's forthcoming.
All right. And I assume we'll be notified by email and then perhaps at a public meeting. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Councilwoman Pies.
Thank you. I want to welcome Director Hammerly on board. I appreciate that you've really come to know the city all of these years and that you've been able to step up to this position. From all accounts, through the grapevine, you have a lot of support from fellow officers, from people throughout the department, and I'm really glad for that. I think that's what we need right now is someone who knows the city, someone who knows the department, and somebody who can take that on as a leadership role. And I welcome you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You're quite welcome. I also want to give an update about the animal ordinances. I've been working on that for a couple of weeks now. I've been just about getting my JD in animal law. I found MSU has a law school and a huge section is devoted to animal legal laws and things. And they have a lot of resources pointing to other resources throughout the country. So I've done that. I've met twice now with Corinne Martin of Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society, who is our animal control worker. She has talked also with the former animal control person for East Point. So I've been getting some feedback from there. I've been looking at laws from Ohio, Kansas, North Carolina, New York. One thing I have learned is that Michigan does not have a law regarding pets being left in vehicles and how they should be taken from the vehicle with no liability to the person doing the rescuing. So that's one of the ordinances I'm focusing on right now. I hope sometime this week that I'll be able to get this all to our attorney and that she'll be able to look it over, however long it will take her to look it over. And then hopefully we'll have something to present at the next ordinance meeting for everyone to go over, and public will be able to have some say on that also. So that's pretty much all I have to report for right now. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you, everyone.
Madam Mayor, before you start, may I?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted a couple other quick things. One, I want to thank the, congratulate our new Director of Public Safety. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And also, I thank you, Ms. Wiki, for your addition to what you were saying about MedStar, even though that doesn't exactly answer the specific question that my husband asked. So I know the mayor, you did say you were going to get back to him with that answer. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And February is Black History Month. And I was just wondering if the library or the city or anybody was doing anything special. I know the libraries sometimes have programs or something going on. I was wondering if anybody knew about something that was going on for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I was just about to speak to that about a resolution from the city of Harper Woods to recognize and commemorate Black History Month. Although we know that Black history for us is 365 days. It is not just for February, and Black history is not just Black history, it's American history. So I would like, I didn't prepare it, but we will be doing a resolution to be sure that the city of Harper Woods recognize Black History Month as being, how would you say, recognized or
Celebrated.
celebrated?
Yeah,
Woo!
celebrated.
See, that was a brain fart, you know? Anyway, it was to be celebrated by all citizens. There's so much knowledge for people to understand. When you go through the list of inventions and things that we as African American, as Black folks have contributed to this country, is phenomenal. And most people do not understand or even know some of the things that we have done. And since we're in this stage right now where people have problems with history being taught to everybody, I want everyone to understand some of the things that we have invented and have brought to this country, and that all this needs to be celebrated, not to put down any one race or to uphold another race. It's just that history is history, and we can't take that away from us. And everyone needs to understand what our history is. So with saying all that, before this month is out, we will do a formal resolution, which I will send to all of you guys before we present it. And everyone will be able to feed into it or add or subtract whatever they choose to. Okay. All right. And also, each one of you council members should have received a survey from Ms. King, Elizabeth King, who is, you should have gotten a survey that was regarding commission's education certifications. Anyway, if you have not got that survey, I will make sure everyone gets that survey. It's from NEDC. But anyway, if you haven't gotten it, I will make sure everyone has it. And I need you all to respond to it, because we are going to make sure everyone, for each commission and board member, are certified and have the knowledge that they need to operate within those commissions. Okay. And let's see. I also want to thank Mr. Hammerly, Chief, for coming in and stepping up to the plate to be our new Public Safety Director. I truly appreciate you. We went through all the proper procedures, and he came out on top from a lot of different levels. And I truly appreciate it. And I think we're going to really, truly make a difference. We have some things that he and I and acting city manager will be going over, because you, as everyone else, I am appalled about the way people speed through our city. I am forever up and down Beaconsfield, and I get people running me over. I try to do the 25 miles. I even speed up maybe a couple of miles over, hoping they get off my behind, to no avail. Have people's passing me, on the right, on the left, whichever way they can get around me. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And Beaconsfield is a thoroughway for our children. And we end up with a crazy accident out there. We could harm children. We could harm senior citizens, or anyone, so that's something that we need to address. And it is all over the city. I mean, you go down Residential Street and people drive like 50 miles an hour coming down the Residential Street, especially don't mention Huntington or Eastwood or those long streets, old homesteads. Any of those long streets with no stop signs, hey, it's just like a free fall, but those things will be curbed. And we will work towards getting that. And by summertime, we should probably have it under control. If not, people will be very surprised of how we crack down on the speeders for the city of Harper Woods. I remember it was a time that you didn't even dare go over 25 miles an hour going down Beaconsfield.
Yeah.
It's gonna go back to that. So.
Yeah, I remember it was a speed trap.
Well, they're not necessarily speed traps, because if you're speeding, you're gonna get caught. That's all. And we can't say speed traps because that's a violation. So, but we will be monitoring closely people speeding, running through stop signs, and there will be a no-nonsense policy here in the city of Harper Woods. It's the same way with the ordinance. As we said, people that refuse, absolutely refuse to shovel their snow, that is ridiculous. And people that have a corner lot, you are responsible not only for the front of your property, but on the side. If you're on a corner lot, that is your responsibility. You can't just shovel the front and not shovel the side. And when you're on Beaconsfield, that's where our kids travel through. Why should they have to travel through and try to navigate through snow and ice? That's unconscionable. So no, all these things will be coming forth, and let's get our hats on and make sure that we make everybody, if you get complaints, I'm sorry. But if you have not done your proper due diligence to take care of your property, you will receive a ticket for violation. It's a no-brainer here. So that's all I have to say, and I thank you, everybody, and welcome aboard.
Well, and Bill, I want to say Bill and Jason, I did a good job of keeping it clean. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And you know what? Thank Bill. Bill Snyder and his group. They did a yeoman's job. You cannot believe how many, as you said, how many water main breaks we had that was just ridiculous. But we had so many, and they handled it all. And I thank you all very much for the job that you do, Bill. Your crew. All right, Tom Jennings, Councilman Jennings.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
love to make the motion for adjournment.
Support.
Support.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Valentine's Day, everybody.